Hello, everyone. Welcome to this month's Biohacking Supermom session. It's Dr. Kristina here. I'm so excited for you to join us. I'm just going to screen share what we're going to be doing. And we're talking today about transformative habits for healthy families and healthy homes. Families could include single couples as well without kids. But truly, these are my basic steps that I use with people when they just want to get better. When people reach out to me, or if I'm talking to parents at my kids' volleyball rep tournaments, I'm always amazed at how few people realize how really simple steps can dramatically impact their digestion, their mood, their energy, bowel movements, constipation. And it always amazes me, and I forget that, we're not taught to be healthy. We're not marketed to be healthy. And so today I just want to share with you, my top steps that I really hope you'll start implementing starting today, knowing that at the end of the week, this may make your body feel better in a short period of time. And you'll share this with someone who's maybe with a health struggle, or maybe just trying to get healthier and they just need some tips. Hopefully you'll share some of this information with them. About me, I'm a chiropractor for actually almost 24 years now. I've been practicing functional medicine for almost a decade. And I've been working with families in the community and athletes really for the past 23 or so years. I love what I do. I have advanced clinical training in functional pediatrics. I've taken and recertified in the Bredesen approach, which is to help reverse cognitive decline. So that's that protocol. And I'm a Walls certified practitioner and coach. And Dr. Walls' protocol is initially based on MS and now has been used for all kinds of autoimmune challenges and putting symptoms into remission, which I'm always so grateful to work with someone on their journey. I'm a gut specialist and an autoimmunity specialist, and I hope this information helps transform your life in a small or large way. How do you want to transform in 2024? I think that the new year is always a good time to look back and say, okay, what are my goals for this year? And we have personal goals, we have business goals, but we should always have health goals, because every day that you are not taking a step forward into your health, you're taking a step backward. You're getting sicker. Every day, I tell my older patients who are living alone, who are having a hard time walking and get tired easily, every day you walk one less time around the block is a day you can walk less one more time around the block. Every day you have to push yourself to do something that moves you towards health, be it in the morning you drank that extra cup of water, be it on the Sunday, you chop some vegetables and prep some food, be it that you just added some of these upgrades to your routine that we're going to talk about today. So we're going to talk about really simple hacks that you can use, upgrading your morning routine, how you can tweak your morning routine so you're less stressed, optimizing hydration for headache-free days, a drug-free way to battle anxiety, giving you a calmer and more balanced life and less mood swings, understanding that tummy aches and bloating are not normal, and my number one fundamental step that helps transform gut troubles literally at the first sitting, and getting rid of your or your kids' mood swings once and for all. These are my top tips. I hope that you enjoy them. Did you know that over half of stores are said to have a junk food power wall at the checkout? That's where the products are within children's reach. That's where they're within your reach. So if you're shopping and you're hungry and you need a little hit, your energy is dipping because you haven't stabilized your blood sugar, haven't had some protein today, maybe haven't had any hydration, there's all kinds of crap right there at the checkout. And it's actually purposely done so that people will buy it in a quick manner. And one of the things we have to understand as well is that kids are marketed to and fed in a way that is so unusual. In Europe, when I go to Europe to visit my relatives, I'm always amazed at the children's menu, and I have 3 kids, is just a small portion of the adult menu. There's no kids menus when I go to Croatia. There's no chicken fingers and fries, pasta with a canned tomato sauce that tastes like crap. There's none of that. There's just whatever the adult food is in a small portion, which is the way it should be, you know. And kids' restaurant meals, listen to this statistic, are 50 times more likely to offer unhealthy entrees compared to the healthy ones on the adult menu. So I really don't understand kids' menus. I really think we should do away with them. But knowing that society is marketed to in a way to not be healthy, and it's a challenge, you know, even when I get a parent who comes in or a person who comes in and says, I can't go out. I can't start this till 3 weeks from now because my friends who I've planned to do things with won't understand that I'm trying to get healthy. And it's funny because the people who are closest to us often will sabotage us more than they want to or when they think. They're trying to help out by saying, just have a little piece of this. You can have half a glass of wine. It's okay. We'll make sure you don't have a lot. But truly, it's because we're educated this way. We're not educated to understand our digestion and how food affects mood and how energy is affected by hydration and mood. So this is one of the things that I want you to be aware of. And it comes all the way through the marketing. Food producers, retailers, restaurants, they all heavily invest in point of sale marketing towards children. And actually, they've done some studies. There was a study here done by the government in Canada to take a look at how much was that influencing preschool kids and adolescents in their choices to unhealthy food. And as you can imagine, if Rice Krispies, look how much fun that is. There's literally nothing nutritious in a Rice Krispie. When you're looking at this puff of rice that's been fortified artificially with nutrients that you probably can't absorb, you don't realize that this fun packaging is there to entice your child to eat it. And the marketing is pushed really hard on kids. And so, you know, the best way to really influence your children's health is being that role model, being that person yourself. It's really hard to create a healthy home and a healthy family, even a healthy partner. You have a partner who's going through a health crisis, who needs to make steps at being healthier, from sleep to getting out and moving, to drinking more. It's so much easier to do when you're together. So the best way to teach your kids and your people you're trying to influence in your life is to live your life in a healthy way. So I want to talk to you initially about upgrading your morning routine. This is something I do every single day. Like I said, I'm a mom of 3 kids. I have them to myself a lot. I run a busy clinic. I'm researching, I'm trying to take care of myself. And what I found was my morning routine was crazy. I was getting up early enough, I thought, but I was drinking my cup of coffee, getting my kids up, getting the lunches ready, getting everyone out the door, and I was yelling a lot. And years ago, I was introduced to a special kind of morning elixir that shifted my whole routine. One of the things I decided to do first was get up about 45 minutes early. And I know for everyone who wants to roll their eyes or is tired, waking up 30 minutes or 40 minutes early sounds ridiculous, especially if you're a parent who's being woken up multiple times a night with your small child. I understand that. Or someone who has to work late, getting up. But I can tell you that the one thing that you can do to get your kids more motivated in the morning and help lower your own stress, or even your spouse, it doesn't start with them. It really starts with you. It's caffeinating the right way, not the wrong way. And unless you don't feel well when you're drinking caffeine, most of my parents that I work with love their coffee, and they come into the office being terrified. They'll give everything else up to be healthier, but they don't want to give up their coffee. And there's only one coffee I recommend to my patients with awesome health benefits, and that's King from Organo. Organo also has a black coffee, but Organo coffee is super clean. It's certified organic Arabica coffee. And what it has in there, it has a superfood in it. It has Ganoderma reishi spores. So Ganoderma lucidum is reishi mushroom spores, and the spore powder is in there. And they've used it in other parts of the world for thousands of years for immuno benefits, for adaptogenic benefits. And I even know when I switch my patients to this, when they first start doing functional medicine with me, they notice a difference. They notice a calmness. For people who are a little sensitive, it doesn't make them jittery. It has the antioxidants that can help you and defend your health. And it's super portable, so you can take this to the office. And because it's freeze-dried, this coffee, you can just pour water in it. I take it with me when I travel on a plane. But it has been one of the biggest shifts that I made, was not only switch to a superfood coffee, which I can say, I think has many adaptogenic properties. I've noticed at modulating my own stress and immune system through the years. But it made me create this morning routine of sitting quietly, getting up 30 to 40 minutes early, sitting quietly, and doing some self-care for myself because I love my coffee. I don't know anyone who doesn't love their coffee, and no one skips their coffee who drinks it. So now you've got this added benefit of the Ganoderma lucidum spores, the reishi mushroom spores, which is your supplement, which you'll never forget because you never forget your coffee. And it has, long-lasting effects. We sell this at the clinic. Even to our other patients in the clinic in our community, we have people come in and they really notice a huge change in their mood and their ability to kind of make it through the morning. How do we stay headache free? I see a ton of kids, including one of my own, who battle headaches, and young kids, and even us adults when we have headaches, but we have busy lives. You got to work, you got to do that presentation. You can be battling those headaches just because of dehydration. Behavior and energy issues can be linked to diet and hydration. It's so common. Even constipation, so even bad bowel movements and the inability to detoxify, all the chemicals we have out there today can be affected when you are dehydrating. And actually, when you're dehydrated, and actually it's one of the first things that I talk to young kids and teens about, or my patients who are suffering from constipation and or headaches. And they're kind of related because if you're not detoxing, you're not getting your stool out, your toxins out, and you're not flushing your body and the toxins out that way through the urine, then you have a buildup of toxicity, and that can increase tiredness, inflammation, headaches, sometimes even joint pains. So many people underestimate the side effects of being dehydrated or underhydrated. And actually, by the time you're thirsty, you're already dehydrated. So what if you're going to tell me, Dr. Kristina, I hate water? I understand that. I like water. I actually enjoy water, but it can get boring after a while. And some kids don't like plain water. So this is kind of my flavored bubbly water. Any bubbly water, mineral water, with a squeeze of lime or lemon can be good. One of the other things I really like to do is I like to make herbal teas, rose hip, blueberry teas, peppermint teas. You can sweeten them a little or put some lemon, and you can ice those and you can use that as a drink. Smoothies can be drinks, and actually even bone broth. This time of year, for me, one of the recommendations I make, and I use it in my house quite often, maybe 3 or 4 times a week, is I make a thermos of bone broth, and sometimes I'll do that. It has some amino acids and nutrients that are really good and minerals that are really good for healing guts, but it also is a great way to hydrate because there is some minerals in there so your body absorbs it better. And you can also hydrate with hydrating food. Add a cucumber or 2 to your kids' lunch. Add some cantaloupe or melon to your own lunch. Hydrating food that has a lot of water content can also help you. Step number 3, drug-free way to battle anxiety. If you're tired of feeling panicked and worried that you can't calm yourself or your kids' anxieties, and you want to fix fear and panic in less than 5 minutes, it's truly amazing. It's just time to breathe. Breathwork has been used for hundreds and hundreds of years, probably thousands of years, by all different cultures. And they've actually done numerous studies, and the scientific research shows that breathwork can improve symptoms of anxiety, depression, addiction, obsessions, compulsions, and inattention in less than 5 minutes. It really takes no time. And for a lot of you who are like, well, I don't have time to do a breathwork class, it sounds really hokey to me, I want to introduce you to box breathing. Super easy. I use it multiple times a week. There's lots of different breathings. There's alternate nostril breathing. Box breathing is the easiest to do if you're not used to doing any kind of breath work. I often will do it on my way home, when I get in the car, when I park in the front of my drive, when I get where I'm going, I may do a little bit of box breathing, or between patients when I'm running between chiro patients and functional medicine patients. And it goes like this. You're going to breathe in. I'm going to do this like this. You're going to breathe in for 4 seconds. You're going to hold for 4 seconds. You're going to breathe out for 4 seconds. And you're going to hold for 4 seconds. And you can do this from anywhere to 2 to 5 minutes. And it is amazing how quickly you can get yourself into a calmer state. I add one more thing into here, usually, especially between patients or when I'm running from the clinic to pick up my kids or something like that, when I'm trying to get people in the car to go to school. I will actually close my eyes and picture a moment that made me happy, any moment. My first sip of coffee in the morning. Oftentimes it's one of my kids' dimples when they're smiling. I'll just have that image. Maybe it's your dog licking your face. Um, Maybe it's your loved one. You're thinking about their smile. But if you do this when you're doing the breath work, you'll take yourself out of that sympathetic fight or flight stress energy state to a calm parasympathetic state within 2 minutes. And that is extremely transformative. You make better decisions. So if you find you're snapping at people and loved ones in your life because maybe you're not sleeping, maybe you're stressed in your workplace is hard, maybe you're not feeling well, and you just don't think you have time to take care of yourself, this is one thing you can do that takes 2 to 5 minutes. You can do it when you're in the washroom. You can do it when you're driving. It's very simple. And I want you to try it tonight. And I want you to let me know in our Instagram page, drkristinabosnar.com. Let me know, did you do the breath work? How did you feel afterwards? Because very quickly, within a day or two, if you do this a couple times a day, you'll notice a shift in your mood and your energy, and even just that stillness. Being a gut specialist, I see tummy aches, bloating, constipation, upset, anxious tummies constantly in my office. And over the years, I have found that there's one thing that people need to start doing immediately to change that. And I've had dozens and dozens of patients every year that when they make this one change, it changes their bowel movements. It changes their bloating instantly in that day. And missing this fundamental step in the digestive process is so huge. If you or your family or your loved ones are gulping down your food, if you're the parent that puts your kid in front of an iPad just so that they'll eat, and I see this really often, and it's not a judgment, we do what we have to do, but I will tell you there are massive negative effects to being unaware when you're eating and just shoveling food into your kid's face or shoveling food into your own face while you're reading emails. 30% of digestion takes place by looking and smelling at your food, so your body knows what to prepare itself for. The second phase, the second thing that helps with digestion, which is my number one thing, is chewing your food. You don't have teeth anywhere else in your digestive tract. So if you put that food in your mouth and you chew, swallow, or you gulp, or you're shoving it into your kid because you just want to make sure you've checked off that box, you're doing yourself or your child a huge disservice. And that bloating that happens afterwards is because you have big particles in your body. That autoimmune disease that gets flared afterwards, especially I find when people are eating at work, eating at their desk, looking at their emails or Instagram, not paying attention to what they're doing. They feel unwell the rest of the day. That impacts gassiness, bloating, low energy by 3 o'clock where they need a coffee, and headaches. And it can also trigger that autoimmunity. And constipation is one of the biggest things I see, that when we shift that and we have people chew, it makes a massive difference for 50% of people. And I'll tell you why. When you chew, your small intestine stops moving. So you've got you chew, you get the food down your throat, it goes into your stomach. From your stomach, it moves into your small intestine, then it moves into your large intestine, and then we poop it out through the sigmoid colon. So when you chew, your small intestine stops moving, the food is received in your stomach, and then it moves to your small intestine. But as your small intestine stops moving and you're chewing, your large intestine clears the way to make sure it can get ready for food. So it starts chewing. So that migrating motor complex, that contraction that helps your stool and all the undigested food or toxins that we've pulled out that we need to get out in our stool moves down the more you chew. And if you're not chewing, you're not going to get that stimulation, that neurological stimulation to help yourself with that bowel movement. I have an interesting story about a young boy that I saw who'd been constipated for a decade. Enormous stomach aches, enormous pain in his stomach, lots of anxiety, lots of malnutrition, because he wouldn't poop and then he would have explosions. And we uncovered that he had a very stressful relationship with his mother that he lived with by himself. She was doing her very best, but she was very stressed because mostly she was worried about him. And eating around her made him nervous, so he just shoveled his food down. So we made a plan to not eat around his mother for a month, for 4 weeks, his lunch and his dinner, to sit with her at the table, but then eat his food separately, using some of these tools we've talked about, breathing before he ate. And he said to me a month later, he started going to the bathroom like a half an hour after every single meal, which was completely unheard of for 10 years. But the amount of stress he had and the lack of chewing had created an environment where he was so constipated that he would wake up with sharp pains in his tummy. So how is this relevant to you if you have a small kid? And it's really hard to do, and I understand it, but you must push through that hardness. If you have a small child who is difficult to feed, sitting there and yelling at them, getting upset that they're not eating, offering them a cracker instead of having them eat nutritious food that will help build their brain, putting them in front of an iPad or putting yourself in front of a movie. Snacking is a little bit different. To have your meal or trying to do your work while you're shoveling it, you are making a huge mistake because the first step of a digestion can't take place. And so you can't absorb all those vitamins and minerals optimally, and you'll get all of these things. So try this today with your lunch, with your dinner. Sit, chew your food, take 15, 20 minutes. There isn't a real number how much you should chew and how much you shouldn't chew. A lot of people like to talk about, oh, it's 30 times. Well, you can't chew a raspberry 30 times. So as long as it's liquidy in your mouth, and maybe you take some breaths in between, and maybe you're not rushing. Maybe you look down at your plate and you're grateful to yourself for making a nice dinner or a nice lunch, or you're grateful to the person. You say, thank you so much. This is wonderful. Make sure it's colorful. When you're observing what you're eating, your brain is understanding what messages to send to which digestive organs, so we can secrete the right enzymes to break down the food as well. Chew, chew, chew. So important. It's one of my biggest, I'm a big stickler for chewing. I'm a fast eater as well, so it requires a lot of self-restraint for me to chew too. So I want you to try this and see if it makes a difference. You notice a difference in bloating really quickly, like a day or two in, a meal or two in. Get rid of mood swings once and for all. If you want to know how to increase your own attention span, your immune system, your child's attention span, immune system, and avoid your own outbursts and mood swings and your kids, it's really time to seriously think about limiting your sugar intake. Sugar is super inflammatory, from pushing people towards cognitive decline to creating neurological behavioral issues in kids to lowering immune system function for all of us. Sugar truly is a massive problem, and everything has sugar in it. In the long term, a high sugar diet can impact the way a child's neurotransmitters and brain pathways work. And it can even affect how your child learns, their ability to learn, and their ability to retain information. But this is also true for you as an adult. And in my functional medicine practice and my medicine practice, where we help reverse cognitive decline, we help stop Alzheimer's, we prevent people from getting cognitive decline. Limiting sugar is one of the number one things that we do in our 7-step process. Sugar is inflammatory to the brain, it lowers immune system function, and it's everywhere. Does that mean you can't eat fruit? It doesn't mean you can't eat fruit. Fruit is full of antioxidants and other vitamins and minerals that are so nourishing. Do I want you to eat 3 cups of mango every day? I don't. But knowing how to seriously take away all the processed things with sugar, all the muffins and the granola bars and the candies and the lollipops and all of that crap that we give our kids after school because their mood is dropping. And then you know what happens? You get the witching hour at 5 or 6 p.m. We all know it. Anyone who's had kids knows it. I pick up my kids with nuts. I pick them up with smoothies that have protein powder, super easy to pre-make, stick it in a thermos, leave it in your car. Everyone has coffee mugs, most of us do, and thermoses. It is a huge, huge help to have a little smoothie in there that has some fruits, maybe some frozen avocado, maybe some protein powder to help stabilize that after school craving. So you don't get that mood, even for yourself, that 3 o'clock drop. Most people go for coffee. If you can make sure there's fat and protein at your lunch, make sure you have a snack. So if you're going to have some fruit, maybe you have some fat with it, or you have a handful of nuts with it, or a scoop of nut butter. All those things are going to help manage your mood, manage your attention span, and ultimately a lower sugar diet, especially processed sugars, is going to impact your brain health in a positive way. Things like honey and maple syrup are okay. My daughter today is making dates that she cuts in half and she puts some pecan butter in, and then she melts dark chocolate over it. And we put them on a pan and put them in the fridge. Those are delicious. They have some fiber in the date. There's good minerals in there. There's some magnesium in the dark chocolate. So having things that you like that can feed that sugar craving, but that aren't processed sugar. That's really going to help you or your child who suffers from mood swings and hormonal issues, because sugar dysregulates hormones very quickly. Those are my 5 tips. What the research shows that families who shared at least 3 meals a week with their children, the children were 24% more likely to be eating healthy food than those families who ate few or no meals together. We have a very busy household as well. We have kids that do 5 days a week programs, 2 kids at least every day in those 5 days. We have to have our dinners ready early, like 4:30. Sometimes I'll pick up my daughter before she does something with her dinner, which means I have to prep the night before. But we have to do this. We have to meal prep. Because what we've seen is over the last 30 years, the rate of childhood obesity has tripled. And we have so much information, so much opportunity and options for good, healthy things. And we've just fallen off the wagon because we've gotten too busy and tired ourselves. And so as a parent, or as a head of a household, or a couple in a household, or even your own household, but you just want to start feeling better, implementing these things is really going to help you. Here's my why. This picture is actually a little bit old, a little bit bigger. These are the reasons why I do all of these things, including many more every day, small, healthy habit hacks that I added into my routine. I know they're easy because I do them myself. And when I added them, they weren't hard. They didn't take time. The breathing doesn't take time. The chewing doesn't take time. But these guys are the reason why I educate. I try and spread this information to the community. And then I try and be healthier and healthier every week, because it only makes me a better parent and partner. I want to invite you to join our 10 Days to Radical Health Challenge. It is on our website, bosnarhealth.com, BOSNARHEALTH.com. It's a free radical health change course. It's a free 10-day course. Some of the tips that we use are the ones we went over, but every day you implement one thing. At the end of 10 days, you have 10 new healthy habits that you've implemented. Super easy to implement, and you will see a shift in such a short time, a radical shift in some of the symptoms that you thought were just there because you were getting older, or because you're too busy, or because you have stress. If you don't see a significant change or resolution in some of your symptoms, and you're starting to try and eat healthier as well, follow me on Instagram. I'm always posting images and pictures and information, but it may be time to dive deeper. Try going on the Radical Health Change course. It's free. Share it with a friend. Do it together with a friend. Have some accountability. Do it in your house with your family. Make it a game. Make it a challenge. Who can drink enough? Who can drink more waters today? Who can do more breath work today? Who can chew the longest, take longest to eat their meal? Maybe you don't want to do that if you have to be somewhere, but try that. I encourage you to invite other people to do it with you. And let's make a step this year into a better, more successful, healthy year, feeling better, better mood, and better health for everyone that we love and ourselves. I just want to take a moment to see if anyone has any questions. I'm looking here to see. I'm really excited about the next set of Supermom sessions. We are building our list. And if there's anything that you want to see that you're interested in, send me a DM or an email, or you DM me on Instagram. I'd love to know what else you're interested in diving deep into. We've got lots of great topics this year. I hope this was helpful, and I wish you a very happy day, and we'll see you next month. Great to see you. Bye.